cultures of Africa culture, it's about oral history. It's about using human examples, very simple, to pass on the message. And when I reflect on environmental issues that we are dealing with, most of them are about changing behavior or making different choices from policy, but also at human level. So I think I know I'm speaking on behalf of the team that has worked on this. We will reflect and come back to you with suggestions. One of the key colleague for this event is Mohamed Atani, who is in charge of our Africa communication portfolio. So I will follow up with him. There was a question from Faith and Dora regarding SDGs. Look, what I would say, it builds on what others have said. If you look at the difference between MDGs and SDGs, SDGs is a menu of options for everybody, including media. So it's very inclusive. And what that means in terms of working on knowledge and cultures, particularly locally, whether it's putting together documentaries, one, because of the limited resources of UNEP, we have to depend on partnerships, such as with your community. I think two, building on what others have said, if we want our communication, our documentaries to be relevant and human, we even have to go down and be humble and simplify and humanize our story. So one is partnership. We do have some resources, we can mobilize some resources, but I cannot promise, given that we have 54 countries in Africa, we can do everything that is required, but we are committed, especially because we are headquartered in Kenya, to actually work across Africa. So I want to just thank you all, and you can count on our commitment. If you do come to Gigiri, please stop by once we are all unlocked from our COVID-19, but also use my African team colleagues led by David Ombisi, Mohamed Atani, Levis, who did a lot of heavy lifting on this, to give us feedback, because we can only be relevant and effective if we hear honest and constructive feedback from you on how we can be better. So thank you very much to all. Over to you, George.
Thanks, Dr. Msuya. Let me just maybe say quickly, because I saw some questions on training from Lawrence Nzuve on sometimes our inability as universities and maybe colleges and training institutions to make or to ensure that science journalism or environmental journalism is taught in journalism schools. One of the things that we do from time to time is review our programs, and the University of Nairobi, we're currently reviewing that, and we're interested in having courses on environmental journalism. But we also have departments and colleges that deal with the environment. So we're partnering within and obviously with organizations from outside the university to ensure that this happens. The other thing that I wanted to say quickly to Dora and Faith is sometimes mainstream media may not seem interested in issues or your own issues, but I suppose many organizations right now are utilizing their own spaces on social media and such platforms to advance their own issues. So sometimes it's an issue of complementarity, but an issue of ensuring that the spaces that are available to us can be utilized to advance various courses. I think we're coming to the end of the forum, and the Vice President of the Kenya Editors Guild, Samuel Maina, joined a bit late because of technical issues, but he's available right now. I'll probably give him 2 minutes. But first, I would like to ask participants that we extend this by another 5 or so minutes so that we conclude. After Sam Maina, I would ask the Mohamed Atani to come in, and then we hear from Rosalia before we close. So in that order, Sam, please come in.
Thank you very much, George. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Good afternoon. I'm sorry I got to this conversation late, but I have listened to many of the presenters of this forum, And straight, I'll go point by point. I think what is coming out is there is need for greater and cohesive partnership between editors and UNEP and other environmental organizations. Biodiversity and environmental conservation is coming out to be everything about our lives. And nature is very important for our survival, for this generation and the generation to come. And it's about media. Media prioritizing these stories will make the government of the day prioritize issues of environmental conservation. Now, it is important for us to move from commitment and go to action. Let's start walking the talk. Let's now move the next phase of this conversation to having a strong partnership between UNEP and Kenya Editors Guild. Because if editors cannot understand and prioritize the issues of environment, how will the journalists they read prioritize the issues? If you look at it, the stories that make sense are those that resonate with the people. And it is surprising the issues of environment are reported or take the headline when they have caused the issues of environment has caused death and destruction to people and destruction to property. So let's move forward and prevent the stories of environment taking the priority when there is death and destruction. But the immediate for us is to start the walk. We have talked, we move this now from here to villages, to our listeners, to our viewers, and let's have the walking now because we know what is supposed to be done. Our late Professor Wangari Maathai used to say, environment destruction will come back to haunt us. And we can see it is coming to haunt us. Much of the floods we have in the country could have had a lesser impact if we did not destroy our environment. Moving forward, let's work together for the benefit of humanity. Asante.
Thank you very much, Sam. So, Mohammed, this is now your chance to speak.
Thank you, Professor. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you very well.
Thank you very much, Professor, and it's always a pleasure to listen to colleagues and to interact with them. I'm going to be brief. I think our collaboration with media in Kenya and in the region has been ongoing for decades, and UNEP has been supporting journalists to access information, knowledge. We have organized briefings, trainings, and dialogues to build the capacity of journalists to report better on the environment. But let me here share with you 3 points that on reporting on biodiversity. One, biodiversity is among the key pillars of any transformation process in this continent. This has to be reported in a simple language to everybody across the continent, across Africa, be it a policymaker, private sector, a civil society member, or a normal citizen. Biodiversity can differentiate Africa, and there is a simple principle in business and marketing called differentiation. We need to make sure that people understand the value of what they have and why it's important to be protected and valued. Shea butter, for example, argan tree in my village in North Africa, in the Atlas village, and thousands of species can only be found in this continent. And I heard Chief Thomas from Kilimanjaro saying how we can interest people, and especially youth, to plant trees. Let me share with you a brief story. Last year I was traveling in North Africa and in Morocco, and I stopped to take a picture, a photo with a tree called argan tree. Argan tree, people, they make oil of it, out of it. And it's very unique to Africa. And not, I mean, 2 minutes, I saw somebody coming to me asking why what I'm doing there. And I asked him, why you are asking me this question? He said, those trees belong to the communities and we live out of those trees. Our livelihood actually depends on those trees. So people, they protect when they see actually the value and when their livelihoods are link it to nature. So we need to value the asset, the natural asset, and make sure that it's part of our economic and social systems. Especially in this post-COVID era world, I'm sure that you are all aware that our economies have been hit badly, and building back, I think that the environment and biodiversity should be at the heart of our strategies. And lastly, for this asset to be able to differentiate our continent, it needs value addition. Africa needs to invest in adding value to its natural resources. Africans are aware and have committed to this. And yesterday, in the webinar with the environment, the Ministry of Environment and NEMA and Samuel and Rosalia were there. CS Tobiko and his peers said that, I mean, it's time to move from commitment to action. So we need to actually move to action. We need to move to investment in our natural resources. And on what Bernard said on partnership, I always said to colleagues in the media world that we have to continue building media as a business in Africa. That's the only way to grow and occupy its place in the market, be it national, regional, or international. At UNEP and in Africa region, I assure you that we'll continue supporting you and journalists to build better by strengthening capacities, sharing information and knowledge, and working with you as a partner to do our business in this continent. So with those words, colleagues, thank you very much for your time. I know that you are extremely busy. Thank you very much, and looking forward to more collaboration with the Guild and media across East Africa. Again, thank you, and I wish you all happy Environment Day. Over.
Thank you very much, Mohammed. Okay, Rosalia, you have a minute to make your closing remarks. Unmute your mic.
Okay, can you hear?
Yes, please.
Okay, so thank you so much. And just picking on from where Mohammed has left, yeah, so we are interested in going on with a partnership that's more intentional, not a partnership that comes at the point of us being, disseminators or conveyors of the information. So that sort of partnership is so welcome. And also, as has been said, let the environmental body, be more open and be more, share more of the research. Let the researchers involve more with journalists and make your research more accessible to journalists, so that then the stories that we do not know about, or the stories that journalists are not aware about, are able to come out. Then as you make your research more accessible, then the journalists reporting on the beat are able to connect with you and have you as sources. As a guild, we are happy for this conversation. We are happy to follow through with the resolutions, to follow through on the proposed issues on training, on the proposed issues on cross-border relations. And we will be happy to discuss this further, including with the Eastern African Editors Forum. So thank you so much for this time. And I want to take it back to
Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you very much, UNEP, for supporting this initiative. Thanks very much to the Kenya Editors Guild and Rosalia for putting this together. We really appreciate this partnership, and we look forward to collaborating more in future. And the editors that were on this platform, please ensure that environmental issues are mainstreamed, because this is the only way we can promote biodiversity and protect the environment. And to all the participants, I'm sure you can do something to promote the environment and to, of course, ensure that this works for all of us. Thank you very much once again, and good seeing you on this platform. And bye-bye, have a good day, and have a great World Environment Day on Friday. But every day is World Environment Day, I suppose. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George, and thank you all. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Happy Environment Day on Friday.
Right.
All right, Mohammed and Rosalia, do you want to remain maybe for a few minutes?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure.
All right, I think we are hopefully just the three of us. And
Not yet, just give me a few minutes.
Okay.